So we come in and we create restoration. We restore the memories that can't be replaced, or we restore the order to the business, restore and not replace. And it's cheaper to keep her than to replace her.
So I love this because, not only are you making a huge difference in somebody's life that just possibly lost everything or thought they lost everything, right?
And you get to deliver back all this stuff, and it's hugs and crying and joy. That has to feel so good.
All right, hello everybody. It's Matt and Jennifer Lucas with the Franchising Company back for another Zor Zoom edition. Today we have Jamie from Prism with us. And so Jamie, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the call over and let you introduce yourself.
Hello, Matt and Jennifer. Love chatting with you guys always. Jamie Levine with Eversmith Brands. We are, when you think B2B, think ESB. That is, that's what we do here, B2B businesses. And we just added a new brand to our portfolio called One Tom Plumber, actually. So another exciting brand for you guys to learn about in the future. But today I'm here to talk to you folks and your audience about Prism Specialty Restoration. And I'm really excited to do so because it's not an emerging brand, but it's a re-emerging brand. So we'll get into that in a little bit.
Exciting. Okay. It's a little cliffhanger. I like it. So, I guess just high level, tell the audience, what is Prism just on the high level surface? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Prism Specialty Restoration, a clue is in there, right? Specialty restoration is really basically content restoration. So we're not the first one to be called, we're the second one to call. We're not mitigation. So the people that are called first are ServPro and Paul Davis, 911 Restoration, etc. Those are contractors that hire us. Or refer us to do the contents, right? So we're going in there and helping with the textiles, which are the clothing and the rugs, etc., the shoes. We're helping, or wigs. We're helping with the electronics, like that for in residential. That's a dishwasher, a stove, microwaves, art, which could be anywhere from people collecting their little figurines like Hummel figurines to a painting their kid did or photographs, etc. But we do residential and commercial. So we're also helping in businesses. So manufacturing plants, dentist office, attorney's offices, medical billing places, etc. Because we also do documents, etc. So I'd like to, if it's okay, I really feel like I'd like to share a story with you folks. I sound Southern now. I said folks. What's wrong with me? I'm from New Hampshire. I'd like to share a little story that I think really kind of hits home and really helps people understand why they should consider Prism Specialty Restoration and the type of person we're trying to attract. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to show you a few pictures. These are some old school pictures, right? Some of us have some of these at our house. This is Great Grandpa George. He's a military man. You can see I get my looks from him. He married Gertrude. Gertrude's not so attractive, but you know what they say? Good looking person, ugly person, and then you have beautiful children, Sophia. So Gertrude was a little bit of the black sheep of the family because she was a palm reader. That's the devil's work. And we're, very, faith-based family. Sophia took after mom and she joined the circus as a contortionist. Yikes. So colorful family tree explains a lot about me, right?
Oh, yeah. This is your family?
Yeah, actually, no, I just made all that up. I don't know any of these people. But I'm sure we all have people like these in our family and these types of photos, right? However, this is real. This is my Nana's Bible. My Nana taught me about Jesus at a young age. If you open this up, and I'm not going to open it up, the pages will fall out. There's her writing in it. My papa's writing in it. Her highlighter is still in here. I haven't checked to see if it works, but it's all in here. In April of 24, I went to a church by myself, no family in tow, no friends in tow. I wrote my name on a piece of parchment paper and I nailed it to the cross. I got up on a stage feeling very lonely because there was no one there. I went under that water, and when I came out from that water, hands in the air, I felt like I was on stage with 1,000 people, with my Nana and my Papa by my side. The entire congregation stood up and applauded and roared. I knew barely anybody there because I'd only been going to the church for a few months. This is important. If I came home from a family vacation of grown children, which they're not yet, but I imagine it'll be more fun to go on vacation with grown children. We'll see. And I came home to the house that I raised my children, and there was a flood. And this was floating in water. This would be important for me to save. I would want this saved, as well as the clothes that my children came home from in the hospital. Those types of things. Do you have anything, Matt and Jennifer, that if that happened to you that you would just need to have saved? Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
I think we all do, right? I mean, I think every person in the U.S. and in every country has the important things in life, not the material stuff, but the important things.
Yeah, but it could even be, material stuff like baseball card collection, right? Maybe, Jennifer, you still have your wedding dress. And I burnt mine after the divorce, but, maybe your daughter would like to wear it. My guess is she won't. She'll want her own style. Maybe you should just throw it away anyways. But we all have these things. And that is what Prism Specialty Restoration does. We restore memories that can't be replaced. We are coming into people's lives, and I'm all like, I probably might get all teary-eyed, my nose starts running. We come into the time in people's lives when life is turned upside down, and they're just devastated by fire, by flood, by hurricanes, whatever it was. Even if it was their own wrongdoing because they set their house on fire because of their electric vehicle in the garage, or they were, deep frying a turkey on the back porch on Thanksgiving. Life is turned upside down. Or if it's even their business, right? A business that you may have helped that candidate get into, right? Life is turned upside down. So we come in and we create restoration. We restore the memories that can't be replaced. Or we restore the order to the business, restore and not replace. And insurance companies love us because it's cheaper to keep her than to replace her. It's cheaper to restore than to replace, right? So what we're looking for is people that want to go into a business that feels good about what they're doing. We want those servant leaders. We want those people that want to feel good about how they make money. And they can make money. We'll talk about that. They can absolutely make money, honey, in this business. So I just wanted to share that little quick story with you guys because I think it accurately depicts what it is that we actually do.
So I love this because, not only are you making a huge difference in somebody's life that just possibly lost everything or thought they lost everything, right? But the part that I really love about it is, so restoration is a humongous industry, right? I mean, just the numbers are insane. But you're not the one being called at 2 a.m. to come out and start the restoration remediation work, right? You get called by the restoration companies that are being called out at 2 a.m. So you get to work and be referred by all of these.
And you get to deliver back all this stuff. And it's hugs and crying and joy. That has to feel so good.
Right, exactly. Our owners get to have work-life balance, right? Now, they may get a call. I want to just preface, they may get a call in the middle of the night, but they don't have to get out of their pajamas. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They are like, Paul Davis calls them, or ServPro calls them, somebody that they've created a relationship with, which, by the way, are national accounts for us, which we have real, not fluffy, fake national accounts. We have real national accounts that we can get into if we want. I don't know how much time we have, but this is somebody that calls them and says, hey, Jamie, I just responded to a flood. I just responded to a fire. Can you be there Monday morning at 9 a.m. to do your thing? Yep, I'll be there. Thank you. Boom. You know, you talk to our owners and it's rare that they work on weekends or nights. The majority of their business is a Monday through Friday, because they go in and when they respond as that secondary response, they're going in and taking all the stuff out, which we call a pack out. And I know there's brands out there with that name, but that is just a term. You take that stuff out, you bring it to your warehouse, and you inventory, you put together the proposal for the insurance company. You go back and forth, agree, you restore, and then you store. And that's another. So we get paid basically on 3 different things. We get paid on the pack out to take the stuff out. And that can be anywhere from toys and, you know, just think of when you move from a house. You guys did that a few years ago, right? From Owensboro, Kentucky down to Fort Lauderdale, you packed out the whole house, right? It's the same concept, right? We pack that stuff out, we bring it to our warehouse, we restore it, and now we can't give it back until the house or the business is ready for it. So now we get paid to pack out, we get paid to restore, and we get paid to store. And then we get paid to deliver the goods again. And that's obviously the big happy moment.
Nice. I dig it. And so you kind of touched on this at the very beginning of the call, but I'd like to just kind of go over it. So can you, all the different things that you can restore?
Yeah. So we have essentially 4 service lines. And I want to preface too, before I dive into this, we were originally known as ERS. That's how our company started in the early 90s. And back then, they just started with 1 service line, then they added another and another. And so then they rebranded to Prism. And now still franchisees were just buying 1 service line at a time, right? Today, this is part of the re-emerging brand. We're now Prism Specialty Restoration, making it very plain and clear what we are in the name. And we're owned by Eversmith brand. So now moving forward, when somebody comes in, they're buying all service lines. And they were our franchisees last year were highly incentivized to add all service lines. So not everybody has all service lines, but more than half of the system now does, and that will continue to grow. But the service lines are as follow. First is textiles. That's the easiest to start with. You're washing stuff, right? You start with a commercial washer and dryer and what's called a hydroxyl machine. That is a machine that gets put into a room like the size of a small office, and you hang the clothes to pull out all the smell and smoke, etc. out of it. Then you wash them. You put them in a washer and a dryer and you wash them. If it's dry clean, you send it off to a dry cleaner. If it's fur, you send it off to a furry. Did you know that was a thing? I did not. A furry? Nope, but I don't own any furs, so maybe that's why I didn't know that. That's the first, and that technician's very easy to hire. Somebody that's capable to put things in a washer and dryer, fold and hang clothes. Easy peasy, right? The second is electronics. That is where we're now getting into, you want somebody that's like a handyman, right? That's not afraid of wires, motherboards, those types of things. And by the way, we train these people. We train our franchisees, their salespeople, and their technicians. So electronics is, anything doing with things like the dishwashers or the dentist chair that goes up and down, etc., right? The third is art. This is the highly specialized one, and there's 2 levels of art, level 1 and level 2. Now, the biggest question I get, or one of the biggest questions I get, is how hard is it to find an art restorer, right? Are you guys thinking it too?
Of course. I'm writing
Yeah.
everything down in like labor question mark.
Maybe Jennifer's going to be repainting, but
So one of the things I was thinking the exact same thing. So I sat there, I was talking to this gentleman, Jeff, on our team, who was the second Prism franchisee ever, who's now sold his business as part of the team. I said, how hard is it? He goes, Jamie, it's not that hard. He goes, do you know anybody that has an art degree or does art that does nothing with it? And I had to raise my hand. I'm like, I have an art degree. He goes, shut up. And I'm like, yeah, I went to school to be an art teacher. Like, I have my degree, but I'm in franchising. He's like, well, what's your mediums? I was like, I did drawing, painting, and photography. He's like, boom, you could be an art restorer. He goes, we just train you on the processes and that's it. And I was like, wow, he goes, do you know anybody else like you? I'm like, I know a lot of people like me, actually. So it's not that difficult. And then the fourth one is called documents. Now that one's a bit of a dying breed because of the cloud. But there's still businesses out there, the attorney's offices, the medical offices that have lots of paperwork. So it is basically just a process of, believe it or not, freeze drying and drying them out and using a good old fashioned iron and ironing them out the papers. It's really weird. But those are the four things. Now, you may think of like, oh, well, where does a pair of shoes fall in, or where do my kids' toys and stuff? We have something it falls into everything in your house falls into one of those categories, basically.
Nice.
Okay, so on that note, then I'm looking at the item 7. So if you buy all 4 lines, give us an idea of the investment.
Yeah, so you are required to buy all 3 lines. The fourth one is documents. We don't charge for that, just a FYI.
Okay.
So it's all 3 service lines. You get documents with it. The franchise fee is $84,000. The total investment on the high side is around $265,000. And so the biggest cost at the beginning is your warehouse. In reality, it's your biggest cost in general. And so the big question I get from candidates is, do I go with small, medium, or large out the gate, right? And that's a choice, a strategy choice that they have to decide. Most of our franchisees end up having more than one location. They'll have their medium-sized location they do all the restoration in, and then they have a large warehouse somewhere on the outskirts of town where they do all the storage, right? But they can start with a 3,000 to 5,000 square foot, or they can go with a medium-sized location where they can sublease some stuff. But that's probably the biggest part of their investment. They will start with one box truck, then they have to have some equipment, but they don't have to buy all that equipment all at once because they start with textiles. So they start with the commercial washer and dryer and hydroxyl machine, and then they slowly add to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want to go back also and touch on these national accounts, because like you correctly mentioned, national accounts mean something different depending on the brand, right? Sometimes it's just simply that there's a relationship that you can take advantage of, but there's not really baked in business. So talk to us about what national accounts means for Prism.
Yes, I love this topic. So yes, national accounts, we have our 2 biggest referral partners are the contractors like ServPro, Paul Davis, and so forth, and the insurance providers like Liberty Mutual, Allstate, and so forth. So we have a Blue Sky and all these other things. So we have national accounts on both sides. Now, they are considered in reality preferred providers, which is kind of what you're talking about. It's just a relationship, especially on the contractor side. You can't force a franchisee from Paul Davis or whatever to work with us. But how I say this is real national accounts that gets past the fluffiness like that is that we have a national accounts team that is actively working in with these providers at the high network and doing presentations at like regional levels of, Southwest region of, a bulk of franchisees. Maybe it's like 30 to 50 franchisees that they're presenting to. And then they make connections with those franchisees to our local franchisees. So our in-house national accounts team is actively pursuing business for our franchisees. Does that make sense?
That. Yeah, it does. I love that.
It's so cool. And then, so our national accounts is so good that we have these companies contact us, insurance companies specifically in this regard, contact us saying, hey, we have a loss and this is a real story right now. We have a big commercial loss in upstate New York. Do you have a franchisee there? No, we don't. But they had a franchisee that's out of Washington. He owns Washington, Oregon, and a couple of territories in California that they've done business with. He's doing that job in upstate New York. So we have some of these insurance providers call us and say, we've got a job. Do you have a franchisee here? And if the answer is no, we find them a franchisee that's willing to go there and do it. And it's not that big of a lift in reality, because all they're doing is they're going to send if they don't own one, they're going to rent a tractor trailer, pack it all out, bring it back to their location, restore it, and then they'll return it. Right. So that's real now, it's all real national accounts, but this is like beyond the fluff is what I call it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's awesome.
Trying to think what
territory size.
Yeah, we build territory size on population, and which is unusual for most of our brands. Some people will ask me, is this really a B2B business? It is, because you're working with the insurance companies and the contractors, and the insurance company is who pays you, by the way. We build the territory, though, on population because the bulk of our business is going to be in the residential space, working with people's homes and condos, apartments, and stuff like that, right? So it's $1.5 million to population plus is how we build the territories. They're pretty big, very big territories, actually. So the split, by the way, is about 40% commercial, 60% residential. The margins are great on both sides, but even greater on commercial. So we're really encouraging our franchisees to go after more commercial work. We had a summit for them back in August in Detroit last year, really increasing, sales training, etc.
I'm too busy writing. You guys are ask the questions.
I mean, I was going to say, I've asked a bunch already. I feel like we've covered the top points here. Is there something that we're missing that you want to make sure gets across?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest concerns I've been hearing from candidates is a couple of things, actually. The first is the insurance part. For some reason, I wasn't expecting this, but for some reason, people are afraid of working with insurance companies to get paid. And I was like, what? You're going to get paid. It's the insurance company. You don't have to, worry about, a consumer paying you. That just seems so much easier to me. But, it does mean the insurance company may take longer to pay you, right? That's a process. So to overcome that is when you're working with the insurance company on the proposal, is you make sure that you ask to build in getting paid a certain amount upfront, in the middle, and at the end. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it, right? Like hugs from our children. If we don't ask for our hugs, we're not getting our hugs, right? You lose 100% of the shots you don't take, Wayne Gretzky, right? So you've got to ask for it. The other piece is that it just is what it is. So you do have to make sure you always have some working capital. And as you build your business and you're constantly getting paid, it will be less of an issue. So it's important. We encourage our franchisees to have some kind of line of credit that they can tap into during that time period to cover their cost. But if you ask for that money, hey, this is going to cost me this much. I'd like a third of it paid here. I'd like a third of it paid here, a third of it there. or hey, I'd like to invoice you every 2 weeks on the work that's been done and stuff like that, majority of the time they're going to say yes, or they'll negotiate something. But if you ask for nothing, you're getting nothing up front. So that's how you overcome it. And the last thing I'll say is, as I referenced earlier, we are a re-emerging brand. So when candidates go into the validation process, nobody in our system started with all 3 service lines right away, right? Or all 4 in reality. They all started one at a time. So this is a re-emerging brand. So we need to encourage our franchise candidates to understand that you've got to look at this from a different scope and ask questions like, if you knew now what you knew then, would you have started with all 3 service lines? And the answer is likely going to be yes, right? We'll provide them with a blank pro forma, and our item 19 is decent enough to easily figure out the math here. It's not rocket science, right? So I'll leave also on this one last really cool thing is that the average franchisee in our system that has 2 or more service lines does 1.669 million in gross revenues per year. And that's with an average of 5 employees.
Wow.
Boom.
Yeah, I heard that. That's
Monday through
incredible.
Friday, normal business hours, great revenues, great profits, very minimal employees. You get to feel good about what you're doing. Like, why are we still looking at senior care? Just kidding. I love the seniors. It's just, once you understand it, but it is a bit of a complex business, but that for some people is really fun. So,
I mean, you do something a little different every day. Every job's a little different, right?
Yep. It's old school networking sales too, by the way. Golfing. It's great. It's old school networking. You just go take people out golfing, go out to lunch. It's awesome. I want to be a salesperson for that.
I mean, I'm sold. Like,
Yeah.
why haven't we done this?
If you're interested in learning more, send me a text at 270-215-2844. I'll get with Jamie, make sure your market's still available, and then we can talk through some next steps. Jamie,
Excellent.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.